Today, we've got the first look at the iPhone 18 Pro Max new design, as well as confirmation on its upgraded specs and features. So first up, let's talk about the dynamic island, because this has easily been one of the most confusing parts of the leak so far. We've had reports saying it's being completely removed, then others saying it's moving to a punch hole in the top left corner, but now we've finally got something that actually makes sense. Instead of removing it, Apple is simply refining it. We've seen prototype images in leaked screen protector showing that while the height stays the same, the width is being significantly reduced, and it's going from around 20.76mm on the iPhone 17 Pro Max down to just 13.49mm on the 18 Pro Max. And now we even have a tweet from Majin Buu showing a supposed live image of the dynamic island in action. Now, to be clear, there's no solid confirmation that this image is real. It's also low quality, and Majin Buu does post a lot that doesn't always end up being true, but it does perfectly line up with everything else we're seeing, so at this point it's looking very likely that the narrower dynamic island is exactly what we're getting on the iPhone 18 Pro Max. Now, also a great way to improve your power at home or while traveling is with today's video sponsor, the Bluetti Elite 300 portable power station, packing plenty of power into a compact size. Now, one thing I've noticed more and more recently is how often you end up needing power somewhere where you simply just don't have it, whether that's filming, working, traveling, or even just being in a different part of the house or garden. You suddenly realize how much you rely on having power available all the time, and that's where something like this really comes in handy. Well, it's a little bit bigger than a 2 kWh model. It delivers a whopping 3 kWh capacity with 2,400 watt output, and this means it can power anything from a phone or laptop to a fridge, power tools, or even my coffee machine and kettle. But more importantly, it's not just about what it can power, it's about how usable it is in real situations. So example, if you're working somewhere without easy access to power, or just don't want cables running everywhere, you can set this up nearby and run everything straight from it. If you do need extra power, there's also a powerlifting mode that can spike up to an impressive 4,800 watts for higher demand devices. So this means things like computers and monitors, heaters, power tools, and even mains powered kettles that draw a lot of power quickly. So stuff that wouldn't normally run on a smaller portable power station, it's no problem, and this can even comfortably power my air fryer with both drawers on maximum temperature. Now that's where it starts to feel more like a proper alternative to traditional power, rather than just being a backup. But it can also be used as a home backup, and if the power cuts out, it's going to switch to the Elite 300 in around 10 milliseconds, so that means things like your Wi-Fi or your fridge can run without interruption. And honestly, that's one of the biggest benefits. Because when power goes down, it's not just the lights, it's your internet, your food, your entire setup, but this just keeps everything running in the background that's important to you without you even needing to think about it. Now, this is the UK model here, and we've got 2 AC outlets and 6 DC outlets to power multiple devices at once, but there are also different variations for USA and Canada. We've got one for Europe and one for Australia. So this means that wherever you are in the world, it's designed to fit straight into your setup. And because you've got multiple outputs, you're not choosing between devices, and you can run several things at once, and this makes it much more practical day to day. Now, it's not just one specific use case either. You can use this at home, you can use it for travel, you can use it when you're outdoors, or even for jobs where you just need reliable power on site without relying on mains. So instead of thinking of it as replacing anything, it's more like adding flexibility and backup. You've just got power wherever you need it. Now, the Bluetti app also allows you to control from your phone remotely and manage or schedule the power usage, so you can turn things on or off, set timers, or just monitor everything from your phone. And this makes it feel a lot more like a smart device rather than just a battery pack, and again, it just adds convenience, especially when you're using it regularly. So whether it's backup power at home, running high demand devices, or just having reliable power wherever you are, the Bluetti Elite 300 covers pretty much everything. And it's one of those things, as soon as you start using it, it just becomes a part of your setup that you can't live without. So for those of you that are interested, you can go ahead and grab your Bluetti Elite 300 today by clicking the link down in the description below. And don't forget to use the code BLUETTITT for an exclusive 5% off. Now back to the iPhone 18 Pro Max, and alongside that reduced dynamic island, we've also got upgrades to the display itself. Now, reliable leaker Ice Universe reports that Apple is going to be using Samsung's new M16 OLED panel, and this means better efficiency, higher peak brightness, and improved color accuracy, all things that you're actually going to notice in everyday use. And again, that smaller dynamic island is going to play a big role here. With the width reduced, you're getting more usable screen space without Apple having to completely redesign the front of the phone. It's a small change on paper, but visually it makes the device feel a lot more refined. Now, we've also got news that the camera module is getting slightly thicker as well. We've seen dummy model comparisons showing the difference between the 17 Pro Max and the 18 Pro Max. While it's not a huge jump, it is noticeably more prominent. Reports suggest thickness is increasing from around 12.9mm to 13.8mm, so it's something you'll only notice if you're holding the two phones side by side, but the reason for it is simple, and it's camera upgrades. We're getting variable aperture on the primary camera, and this means that the lens can physically adjust how much light enters the sensor. So in darker environments, it opens wider for better low light shots, and in brighter conditions, it can narrow to improve sharpness and control exposure. And it also gives you much better control over the depth of field instead of relying purely on software. Now, on top of that, leaks are suggesting we're getting a massive 1/1.12-inch primary sensor, and this would significantly improve the light capture and overall image quality for both photo and video. And we're also hearing about improved optical stabilization for the ultra-wide lens. Now, there are still loads of rumors floating around about a 200 megapixel primary camera, but at this stage, those are looking much less likely. Now, interestingly, the standard iPhone 18 could also be seeing a bit of a downgrade to cut costs, and Apple may be reducing the display brightness, even though it is still going to feature ProMotion. Now, while that sounds like a step backwards, it does make sense as it creates a clearer separation between the base and the Pro models. But that being said, it still needs to at least match the brightness of the iPhone 17, otherwise it is going to feel like a noticeable downgrade. And there's also a report of a slightly toned down chipset for the base model as well, but it is going to be getting an upgrade to 12GB of RAM up from last year's 8. Now, when it comes to the overall design, the iPhone 18 Pro Max is exactly what you'd expect. It's very similar to last year's model, but with a slightly thicker camera module on the back, and then the narrower dynamic island on the front, giving you more screen real estate and some trimmed down bezels as well. Now, I've created these renders to give you a clear look at what you can expect, but one area that's still completely unclear at the moment is, of course, the color options. We've had reports suggesting everything from deep red, brown, dark cherry to purple and light blue. So at this point, it's pretty obvious that Apple is testing multiple colors internally, and no one really knows which ones are going to make the final cut. Now, as soon as we get any solid confirmation though, I'll be updating you guys straight away, and of course updating these renders. Now, for those excited for the iPhone 18 Pro Max though, we're now going to run through the full specs, design and pricing to help you guys decide which one is right for you. So hit subscribe now and we'll get right into it. So first up, we have the iPhone 18 Pro, and this raises the bar with a 6.3-inch LTPO Super Retina XDR OLED display running at 1 to 120 Hz. It's going to remain at 2622 by 1206 resolution, but of course we get higher peak brightness, thinner bezels, and a smaller dynamic island. We get a new 42 megapixel selfie camera on the front that's been moved to the top left of the display. Then over on the back, the Pro steps up to a triple camera system with a variable aperture, and that's a 48 megapixel main sensor, a 48 megapixel ultra wide, and then a new 64 megapixel periscope offering 5 to 10 times optical zoom. And all three are rumored to use stacked sensors for faster readout and better color depth. It's powered by the A20 Pro chip, which is manufactured on a 2nm node, and it's coming with 12GB of RAM and up to 1TB of storage. And battery size is going to land around 4,300 mAh for the eSIM only model, with some big improvements to fast charging. Connectivity brings 5G, Wi-Fi 7, Bluetooth 6, ultra wideband, and the new C2 modem. It's of course going to ship with iOS 27, and pricing is expected to start from £1,099 or $1,099. Next up, we've got the iPhone 18 Pro Max, Apple's largest flagship model, and we get a 6.9-inch LTPO Super Retina XDR OLED display with a resolution of 2868 by 1320. It's still a 120Hz display with a record-breaking peak brightness and a smaller dynamic island. For the front camera, we get the same 42 megapixel camera we have on the Pro, and again it's been moved to the top left. And then over on the rear, we could see a 200 megapixel primary camera, a 48 megapixel ultra wide, and a 64 megapixel telephoto, of course with larger apertures and improved sensor readouts for even better zoom and night shots. Now it's running the same A20 Pro chip with 12GB of RAM, but this time we get up to 2TB of storage, and it also packs a much larger battery of 5200 mAh for the eSIM only model, with improvements to wired and wireless charging. We get 5G, Wi-Fi 7, Bluetooth 6, ultra-wideband and Apple's C2 modem, and of course it's running iOS 27 and it's expected to launch around £1,199, well that's going to be $1,199 in USA, and of course it's launching in September 2026. Finally, we have the Apple iPhone Fold, Apple's most premium iPhone to date. It features a 5.5-inch external display for everyday use, paired with a 7.8-inch internal folding OLED display with a wide tablet-like aspect ratio. Now both displays use punch-hole cameras, with the external camera at the top center of the display and the internal camera in the top left corner, and of course the standout feature here is that when it's unfolded, the internal display has no visible crease from any angle. Now the device measures at just 9mm thick when it's folded and 4.5mm when unfolded, making it one of the thinnest book-style foldables ever. Now for the selfie camera, it's unknown at the moment, but at least the external punch hole is likely to be an 18-megapixel multi-aspect selfie camera. And then over on the rear, we've got a dual camera setup on a raised camera bar, and current rumors suggest Apple may deliver a 200-megapixel stacked primary camera, and that's going to be paired with a 48-megapixel ultrawide, and of course it's all alongside Apple's latest AI-powered video features driven by an upgraded neural engine. Now it's going to be powered up by the A20 Pro chip and paired with 12GB of RAM and up to 2TB of storage, and it uses a dual battery system with an estimated combined capacity of around 5600 mAh, designed to deliver consistent all-day battery life despite the large internal display. Instead of Face ID, Apple has integrated Touch ID into the power button, positioned right above the camera modules, and for connectivity we've got 5G, Wi-Fi 7, Bluetooth 6 and ultra-wideband, and the device runs iOS 27 out of the box. Now the iPhone Fold is expected to launch in black and white color options, with pricing estimated at between $2,000 and $2,500, positioning it firmly as Apple's most expensive and most ambitious iPhone yet. So overall, the iPhone 18 lineup is shaping up to be a solid upgrade. Apple isn't reinventing the design here, and instead they're focusing on refining the hardware and improving the overall experience. Now the camera, display and battery upgrades should all make a noticeable difference in day-to-day use, and AI is obviously going to play a big role with the new iOS, but if we're being honest, this is still an area where Apple is starting to fall behind by quite a bit, so hopefully this year they can catch up and bring something a bit more competitive. Now that being said, because of the similarities to the previous model, I can't see anyone with an iPhone 17 rushing for an upgrade, but for anyone on an older iPhone or looking to try out their first iPhone, then it could be a great option. Now as always, as soon as more leaks come in, I'm going to be sharing them straight away, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a thing in the future.